So welcome guys to episode number 5 here. Today's topic is how do you know if when you're making decisions, how do you know if you're really on the right path? How do you know that you are making the right decision, especially when you're going into an unknown space? And I think one of the misnomers out there, one of the bits of advice that I've heard thrown around again and again is that leaders make quick decisions. And I couldn't disagree with that statement more, because I think that, and one of my great mentors who's very wise once said there's no such thing as sharp right hand turns when it comes to the business world. And what he meant by that and how I interpreted that was meaning that you didn't get to where you're at today. So if you're in a place of pain or if you're in a place of success, you didn't get there by just showing up that way. We all want speed, we all want results quick, but let's be honest. If you genuinely are at a place where you're creating success in your life, it took a lot of small wins, a little small steps along the way to get you to that place where you can climb the mountain. You didn't climb there in one day. And the same is true with a downfall, right? You didn't get to that point by showing up and failing miserably in one day. That's rarely the case. There are indicators and signs along the way that you neglected or didn't or failed to see that got you to the place you're at today. So when we're looking at decisions here, I'm a huge believer, and we talked about this yesterday as well. Einstein has that great quote about how, if you ask yourself, or if you're asking a question, you can't really answer that question at the same level of consciousness. And to make that a little less woo-woo and make it a little bit more, practical, is to say that, look, if you are shifting and changing and wanting to evolve and wanting to up-level and wanting to evolve your game, then I think a lot of times it goes back to being able to recalibrate, to change and to look at and say, you know what, where are my values at? What's most important to me? And to be able to make decisions off of your values. And this is something that really helped me through this process, was being able to go back and look at my values and then determine my path. And that's not something I was able to do in an instant, in a moment. I'll give you an example. So when I was 18 and I started network marketing, I saw it for the first time on a chalkboard. And I knew, and in my mind, and I can look back and say this was very naive, but it was important that I went through this process where I thought if I make residual income, if I make $10,000 a month, I'm gonna be happy. Like residual income at $10,000 a month equals happy. And I spent 8-9 years doing just that and found out, yes, it's fun. Yes, you get cool shit, but it doesn't equal happiness, right? Then I said, if I go out there and create residual income with good people, doing this on my own, with the parameters I set for myself, it's gonna equal happy. And it did for a bit, but not necessarily. And so the parameters I came back with this time, the values I came back with this time were things like, being able to get to spend quality time with my family, right? Am I getting to use my gifts, talents, and abilities? Is it gonna be fulfilling? Do I get to serve a community of people? And ultimately, am I happy? And what you'll notice about the parameters this time is there's nothing in there attached to money. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. These are just the parameters that I'm working with right now. So when you go back and look at that, you say, what direction, what fork in the road am I gonna go towards? You have to really look at your decisions and weigh them out and say, you know what? Does this bring me further away? Does this take me away from my values, or does this bring me closer to my values? If you are looking at the end result, and I'm a big proponent on saying, look, if you're building a business, you're doing anything entrepreneurial, you're taking a risk, it's gonna take a ton of time. So am I willing to look like an idiot doing this? Am I willing to suck at this thing long enough? Am I willing to suck at the process, right? Am I still, this is a key one. Do I still get fulfillment, enjoyment from the process, even if I fall down, right? I get to create content right now, and even if one person watches this, genuinely, if you're the only person that watches this, I am genuinely happy because I'm not making it for anyone other than me, because I love doing this. And if I get to serve one person, that's what I care about here. So even if this doesn't get anything or go anywhere, it's still fulfilling to me. It still scratches that itch. So does that do it for you, right? If you're making a decision, does the process still scratch the itch? Like if I get massive amounts at some point in time of, followers, tribes, whatever, and get to do stuff, is that cool to me? Yeah. But even if I don't get there, this part still is freaking cool to me. So that was a big part of it as well. And I think the big part too was being able to say, look, is this, I'll figure out money later. Let's figure out how to serve people now. Who can I go out there and genuinely go out there and help? So when it comes to making decisions, look, give yourself some time and patience, some forgiveness if you don't know where you're going right now. And second of all, take some time to reevaluate what your values are. What are most important to you? What needs to show up in your life right now? And then make your decisions off of that, right? Does it bring you closer to those values or further away from those values, right? It's okay that it looks jagged. It doesn't have to be a linear path exactly to where you want to go. But in some sense, does it put you in that place? And then can you test it, right? Can you really go out there, and this is a whole different video, can you go out there and test this hypothesis? Can you try it? Like, I can say I can do this for 90 days, and if it sucks, I'm never going to touch it again. But I'm 5 days in, and this shit's awesome. So I'm going to keep doing it. So guys, if there's any value here, I know it's a little bit all over the place today, but it's something that I'm trying to contextualize. I'm trying to say, look, take some time to evaluate your values. If you really need feedback or to connect with someone, I mean, be aware of who you're getting your advice from, but obviously, find people that are further down the path. Ask for what helped them. But if you've never taken the time to write down what your values are and what matters most, especially when it comes to your career, you can do this with relationships, you can do it with spirituality, you can do it with health, you can do it with whatever you want to do here. It makes a difference. So if you got something out of this, here's how you guys can help me. If you guys got anything out of the content today, do me a favor and drop it in the comment section below and tell me what actually made a difference, like what actually helped. Because then I can begin to see kind of, this made sense, and some of you guys made great observations already, like that shit didn't make sense at all. And tell me that, like I want to know how to improve these. So hopefully that helps, adds value, and dude, like immediate decisions, that's a horrible, like immediate leaders are people that make, dude, that's such BS. Cheers.